Hello, and welcome to Decorating Pages podcast. I am your host, Kim Wannop. How's it going? How about that Superman episode? I knew you would like it. And I liked it because I got to learn so many insider things from set decorator Rosemary Brandenburg. It was just fantastic to sit down and talk with her and then reminisce about all of those other films and The Hateful Eight and Amistad and Public Enemies and, Star Wars. It's crazy. I could listen all day to her. So thank you for listening to that episode. Today let's talk about the Emmy nominations for production design. It's going to be a tight race. So we're going to do a little Emmy trivia, a little Emmy history, and we'll get down to it. So I'm going to break down all of this year's Emmy nominations for Outstanding Production Design, like for contemporary, for the hit like The Last of Us and Severance, which you can listen to set decorator David Schlesinger talk about his time on Severance. And we could talk about the set decorator from Andor. Again, Star Wars never gets old. Never gets old to me. And those sets are so fantastic. Set decorator Rebecca Alway. That is a previous episode. And in 3 weeks, you can hear from production designer from Bridgerton, Alison Garshore. So stay tuned for that one. We will revisit some of the standout shows, why I think they're nominated, maybe a couple snubs. Even the half hour is pretty close this year. We have Hacks, which you can listen to production designer Rob Tokarz and set decorator Jennifer Luckhart talk about the show. And even Mid-Century Modern, we have an episode with Greg Grande and Peter Gursky. And that show looks fantastic also. It's all tight. It's tight races this year. There's so much good design. So get ready. We're going to dive into it. Let's start with the history of how an Emmy is won. The Emmys were started in 1946 by Sid Cassad, C-A-S-S-Y-D, Cassad, with 5 charter members. And then to help the industry professionals develop art and science of television, they developed this award. The first president was Edward Bergen. So that's who started the Emmys. As of now, there are over 24,000 voting members with 31 peer groups representing each specific television industry profession. So that means there are 2 governors for every peer group. As right now, in the production design peer group, I am one of the governors for the set decorators, representing the set decorators, and Raf Leiden is representing production designer art directors. You have 2 for cinematography, you have 2 editors, you have 2 stunts, you have 2 costumes. That's how it goes. So there are 62 governors, 31 peer groups at this time. And what we do is, we help our members, first of all, hopefully get involved if you want to be involved with the Emmys. Enthusiasm of our events, encouragement to support the Academy. And if there are rule changes that we see come up every year or little tweaks into our rules, we try to do that. This year we were very passionate about getting half hour divided again into multicam and single cam. That comes down to numbers. That comes down to submissions. There has to be a certain number of submissions for multicam to get its own half hour category. Then also we had a big win this year. I was very proud of this because I spearheaded successfully getting that same rule for period and fantasy. Right now, period and fantasy are in the same category. If they have enough submissions independently, they will separate. So that's a win. We just have to get the submissions up, and that means more shows have to be made. So, and we can do it. The numbers have been hit a lot in the previous years. It just so happens, I think, with the contraction of the industry and how things are going. Period and fantasy, I think because they are expensive genres to produce and maintain, their submission numbers were lower for us this year. So that is why they are still together. You want to talk about the Emmy statue? The Television Academy considered 47 proposals before choosing the Television Engineer Award that Louis McManus designed. And so the Emmy and her wings represent the muse of art, and the atom and its electrons represent the science and technology of television. So today, each precious statue is cast in a precise mold, and once cooled and buffed, it is coated in copper and nickel and silver and gold, and then the process takes over 5 hours to make one Emmy. The first Emmy ever went to a ventriloquist and KTLA personality Shirley Dinsdale, and her little sidekick Judy Splinters was her really creepy looking puppet, I gotta say. But she won the first Emmy. The name Emmy comes from Immi, I-M-M-I, a nickname for the image orthicon camera tube that was instrumental in the technical development of television. So it's like a little tube that was inserted to make television possible. I don't know how they did that, but that tube did it for them. First Emmys were presented in 1949 at the Hollywood Athletic Club in Los Angeles, and tickets were only $5. How about that? So, how do you get an Emmy? Now let's determining the nominees. Submissions for a program, a performer, or an individual achievement must be submitted to be nominated. If you're eligible, you should submit. That's what we say. If you think your work is Emmy worthy, you should submit. Don't be shy. Then voting begins. Submissions come in, and voters determine the nominees by voting for the entries they feel exemplify excellence in their categories. So then this process, the nomination rounds, the ballots are tallied. Ernst & Young checks them out, and then July 15th, we had the Emmy nominations. Then there is a final round voting. Again, Emmy voters pick their favorite in the programs and categories and non-program categories, and they are submitted. I think the last day to vote is the 23rd, I think. It's 7 here? No, but I think it's the 23rd. I have it on my calendar. So then they're tallied, and the Emmys are the... What day? Emmys are the September 13th. There you go. Now, the creative Emmys are the weekend before. Little bit of history. In 1949 to 2001, voting members watched submissions at the Television Academy and local hotels. Party. And then from 2002 to 2014, members applied to be in blue ribbon panels to judge categories, and they watched submissions on DVDs. Then from 2015 till now, I used to get all those DVDs. Oh my God, with boxes of TVs, but like really pretty presented boxes. Like HBO always had the best, and then Netflix. Secure online platform viewing is now introduced, and in 2020, DVD mailers were eliminated, and all eligible content was viewed online. So yeah. So casting your vote, it's verified, and then, votes are cast, and the deadline is August 27th. So yes, Ernst & Young is the accounting accountants, and they're doing all the tallying, and then the Emmys are submitted, and then airs September 14th at 8 p.m. on CBS. Host is Nate Bargatze this year. The Creative Emmys Awards will be broadcast September 13th on FXX. We get FXX. It's almost porno. So yes, so that is an Emmy process, a little bit of Emmy history for you. I came across, now all of these facts are on the Emmy website, televisionacademy.com. Maybe we talk a little bit about some of the series that are nominated and how many nominations they have had, because I find this interesting. I don't know about you. Out of the drama series, Andor, Diplomat, Last of Us, Paradise, Pit, Severance, Slow Horses, and White Lotus for drama series this year, who do you think has the most overall nominations? You're right. The White Lotus. They also have the most wins. Now, I think they've been on the most, so I don't know. Second to that is The Last of Us with 40 nominations and 8 wins. This year, the largest one was Severance with 27. 27 for Severance this year. That's crazy. Comedy series. Now, this is a tough category. Abbott Elementary, The Bear. By the way, The Bear is not a comedy. Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, The Studio, What We Do in the Shadows. The most nominated comedy series this year is The Studio. The most altogether is Hacks with 62, but coming in close with 56 is Only Murders in the Building with nominations. The most wins, The Bear has 21 wins, 49 overall nominations, and this year 13 nominations. So I don't know, I always find these facts very fascinating. Let's go down a little bit to these are actresses and actors. Patricia Arquette, Kate Blanchett. I mean, there's a lot of movie stars nominated. Harrison Ford's nominated this year. Kathy Bates has 15 nominations, 2 wins. How about that? Sterling K. Brown has 11 nominations, 3 wins. That's crazy. Jean Smart has 14 nominations, 6 wins. That's awesome. She's great. Martin Short has 19 nominations, 2 wins. Yeah. A lot of nominations going on here. Carrie Coon, 10. Who's this? Catherine O'Hara has 10 nominations, 2 wins. And I'm looking for big numbers here to impress you. Not that many. well. Emmy nominations to date. The Daily Show has 84. Jimmy Kimmel Live, 42. Well, rest in peace, Stephen Colbert had 32. No previous wins. I think in 2026 that might change, just to piss some people off. John Oliver, 69 nominations to date with 27 wins. That's a pretty good percentage. Saturday Night Live. Now this will come in. Remember these numbers because it's going to come in as I go through the nominations. Saturday Night Live, Emmy nominations to date, 348. Previous wins to date, 95. They have 7 nominations this year. That's crazy. The Amazing Race, 103 nominations, 15 wins. RuPaul's Drag Race, 79 nominations, 29 wins. Survivor, 73-7. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Wheel of Fortune only has 5 nominations and 1 win. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. So that's some of those. Now, here is, I thought, an interesting category of a little television history that we can go through. Summaries of the most. Who had the most of this, the most of that, and everything. Overall, the most Emmy nominations for an individual. Number 1, Lorne Michaels. 112 nominations for that man. Most Emmy nominations for a program. We already said it. Saturday Night Live with 348. Second is Game of Thrones with 159. It's towering over it. Then ER, 124. Then Cheers, 117. Most Emmys won by an individual. Sheila Nevins, 31. I'm sorry to say I don't know who that is. Lorne Michaels, 21. Most Emmys won by a male performer. This is interesting. You got to go back because there wasn't much competition back then, so I think people would keep winning. Ed Asner, 7. Carl Reiner, 6. Tim Conway, 6. Art Carney, 6. Most Emmys won by a female performer. Number 1, Cloris Leachman, 8. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, 8. Mary Tyler Moore, 7. Allison Janney, 7. Most Emmys won by a performer, same role. Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep, 6. Candice Bergen for Murphy Brown, 5. And Don Knotts for The Andy Griffith Show. Most Emmys won by a comedy or drama series. Oh, so it excludes SNL. Game of Thrones, 59. Most Emmys won by a miniseries, John Adams, 13. Most Emmys won by a TV movie, one of my favorites, Behind the Candelabra, with 11, and Eleanor and Franklin from 1976 with 11. Most Emmys won in a single year by a network. 1974, 44 Emmys went to CBS. Kind of makes sense. Probably MASH years, Mary Tyler Moore. And then Netflix in 2021 tied them with 44 wins. Most Emmys won by a series in its first season. 2024, 18 wins by Shogun. Fantastic. Most Emmys won by a series in a single season. Same answer. Shogun 2024 with 18 set a record. Most Emmys win by a drama series. This is crazy to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-way tie. Most Emmys from a drama series. Hill Street Blues, LA Law, West Wing, Mad Men, and Game of Thrones all have 4. That's crazy. Most Emmy wins by a comedy. There's 3. Well, Frasier has 5. Modern Family has 5. And then it has studio nominations. Most program nominations single year. We're not going to go on all this. That's crazy. And then, summary of multiple Emmy wins in 2024. Shogun had 8. The Bear had 11. Did I talk about The Bear yet? Yeah, I will. I'll talk about it next week or something. Yeah. So those are the stats that I wanted to give you in a little Emmy history. I thought that those were interesting. Now let's start to talk about production design. Outstanding production design for a narrative contemporary program: The Last of Us, The Penguin, The Resident, Severance, and The White Lotus. Now, it's a lot. Contemporary. Here's my number 1 as a governor. I did question, is The Last of Us contemporary? Because it's dystopian. And I don't know if it's in the future. I don't know where they're at, actually. I watch it, but I think that they're in the future. But you have to be 25 years, and the majority of what the episode contained is contemporary design, and that is why The Last of Us is in contemporary. I questioned The Penguin, because it's fantasy. I mean, it's the Penguin, it's Batman, But in set form, it's still contemporary sets. So that is why the percentage of sets were contemporary, and that is why it is in this category. The Residence is White House. Severance is very distinct and modern and everything, but it's still modern day. White Lotus is that gorgeous, hotel and everything. So you have a dystopian future. You have the Penguin, which is styled and precise and but dark and moody. The Residence is gorgeous White House, gorgeous contemporary sets. Severance is this, fabricated world of like mid-century and like just beautiful, singular, simple things and beautiful carpet. I don't know. I love Severance. And then The White Lotus is a contemporary that gives you this tropical vibe this year, this hotel living, this Thailand influence, showing everyday life in Thailand. So those are the sets that you're looking at to judge these wonderful shows. To me, I love The Penguin. I really do. I think Severance is going to take it. I'll tell you why. Because they didn't win for the first season. And a lot of times, in all categories, a lot of times Not the show doesn't catch on, and then the next season is rewarded for that. Now, how people vote is a whole nother conversation of how I've tried to tell people don't vote for your friends, vote for the work. Maybe your friends do great work, great, vote for them. But, in these types of categories, it's very hard. So one of the things that is extraordinary about our production design categories is that it's an area award, which means they are going to ask you on your ballot, is The Last of Us worthy or not worthy? Worthy. Sure. Give it a worthy. If you think it's worthy, give it a worthy. Penguin, all the way down. Whatever you think. Don't do them all, because then it's like you didn't vote, right? I don't know. Or don't. But we can have more than one winner. And that's very important. More than one show can be recognized in all of our categories. So please take the time to think, is it worthy, is it not? It's not a, it can help another show win. And to me, all of the nominees are winners. All of these shows are fantastic. They're all really hard. The work is fantastic. So again, just keep that in mind if you're an Emmy voter in production design. We are an area award. Second category, outstanding production design for a narrative, period, or fantasy program. Andor, blown away. Star Wars. The quality and ridiculousness of this show in their sets, to me it's kind of unfair. It's a film. It's a film. It's a Star Wars. It's a film. It's crazy. Their sets are phenomenal to me. Bridgerton, again, these fantastic period sets, and so many sets in an episode. Dune Prophecy, there you go. That's another. These are film quality sets. It's very hard to compete in these categories. 1923, those sets, the Western and building all these towns and making everything period, forget about it. And Panchenko, another phenomenal series with the sets. It's a very hard category. Again, you can listen to set decorator Rebecca Alway talk about Andor. And we go through a lot of the sets. Bridgerton, you listen to that episode. She's got a lot of great stories. Production designer Alison Garthshore. The timing and the construction, and it's a lot. And I'm sure it's like that on Dune. I'm sure it's like that on all of these. 1923, Panchenko. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But my front runner, I think, is Andor. I think, now again, Andor wasn't even nominated for their first season, and now they're showing up. They're showing up big this year. They got a lot of nominations, so I think Andor might take it. Not that any other show isn't worth. Now, I'm not saying anybody's not worthy. I'm saying what I think the voting is going to go. Outstanding production design for a narrative half hour. You've got Hacks, which you can listen to production designer Rob Tokar's, set decorator Jennifer Lukehart. Mid-Century Modern, which is the one multicam in the 5 that you can listen to production designer Greg Grande and set decorator Peter Gursky. Tons of work on that multicam. Only Murders in the Building. I had last season Patrick Howe on, and that show to me is kind of like a Veep in a sense that I think, or there's a lot of shows where you think, why are they nominated? It's the same show over and over, but it's not. They have they go to all different parts of that building. Yes, they might go back to one or two sets, but it's like a rebuild. Like when they did the theater stuff, and they had a lot of sets. The Studio, phenomenal design. You can listen to production designer Julie Bergdorf talk about it. It's a phenomenal design showing the back lots and the bill and the Frank Lloyd Wright influence of their set that they built. Beautiful sets. What We Do in the Shadows. I'm so glad in their last season to again be nominated. I have interviews with production designer Shane Fox and set decorator Carrie Wiley from last year. Just so brilliant in bringing those hysterical characters to life. So I'm happy for that. Now, they might be a sentimental favorite because it is their last season. I do think the studio is going to take it. I think the studio has probably the best chance here. It's very hard for a multicam to win, and that is why we fight every single year to try to get them their own category. It's not fair. It's like fantasy and period. It's really not fair to pit them against each other. They're two different entities. So that would be, but mid-century modern, a lot of people like it and a lot of people watch it. So, you go for that. Now, let's go on to variety. Outstanding production design for a variety or reality series. Number 1, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Now, all of these shows are super funny. They have hundreds of sets all year long. They do a ton of work to make the comedy. Next entry is Jimmy Kimmel Live. You can listen to set decorator Heidi Miller. Next week, I talked to her. So you can hear about all her woes and all her funny sets, let's say. It was really fun to hear how they get it done at Jimmy Kimmel. Last week with John Oliver, Eric Morel, they've been nominated many times. RuPaul's Drag Race, they've been nominated. And Saturday Night Live, they've been nominated many, many times. And I'm just going to put this one out there. SNL has been nominated 18 times in production design. They've taken home 8 wins. And the years that they have won were 2013, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, skip 22, 23, and 24. So they have a lot of wins. They have 8 wins in this category. So I seem to think every year, well, they're not going to do it again because they did it last year. And so if I cancel that out in my head without saying it, I do think Jimmy Kimmel Live might get it. I think a lot of people tune into Jimmy, and I think set-wise, if you look at the sets. Now, here's another thing. For Variety, when you go to vote, there on the page, they have a website that you can go and look at the variety categories and look at their sets. Hopefully we get that for the other 3. I hope we get that for next season. I'm trying. But for right now, it's just for variety. So you can go before you vote and look at these sets. Now, it's a tight race. You have 3 talk shows there. Now, they might cancel each other out and give SNL the win. I don't know. But they've won a lot. That's all I'm saying. All right, last category. Outstanding production design for a variety special. Beyonce Bowl. 67th Annual Grammy Awards, the Oscars, SNL 50 Anniversary Special, SNL 50 Homecoming Concert. Two different ones there. Now, to me, SNL might cancel itself out, right? You might forget if it was the special or the concert you're voting for, so you can go and look at those pictures. They might cancel each other out, and to me, you know what I was surprised? I was surprised Super Bowl wasn't nominated, but because it usually gets nominated. I was surprised in this category, I really loved the Oscar set this year. I really loved it. I think that is a fantastic design. I also think there's a lot of work that goes into Super Bowl, Beyonce Bowl. That could take it also. The Grammys, I mean, with all of those screens and all of the performances and everything, that's a tight one. The SNL Anniversary Special was fantastic. And bringing back all of those old sets and everything, you can't knock it. The concert itself, too, that was great. It was great to see all those bands. This is a tough category. I don't know. This is probably the toughest one I can pick. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this. I got to be honest. I think SNL might cancel itself out. You're leaving yourself open for maybe Beyonce. People might just vote for Beyonce. Well, let's not talk about that. But, yeah. Don't just vote for Beyonce. Vote for the work, people. That's what I'm trying to get across here. But in every category, it's tight. I mean, you got Penguin and Last of Us against Severance. You got Andor and Bridgerton, and I mean, you got Hacks, Mid-Century. You got Only in the Studio. It's tight. Everyone. There's just so much good work out there. I don't even know how we get it down to 5. I don't know how we don't have more ties to get nominated. There's so much good work out there. So, the Emmys, as I said, are... When did I say they were? September 13th is the airing of the creative Emmys. And then the actual creative Emmys are 2 weekends before, or 1 weekend before, which is, I'm looking it up on my calendar. Oh, it's not on this calendar? No. Well, it's the 6th and the 7th. The 6th is scripted, and the 7th is variety. So you can find out, call your friends, ask them which night they're going to be, I am very, very, very lucky. I get to go to both, and I get to go to the main Emmys as a governor. I am, believe me, beyond thrilled that I get to do that. It is such a privilege. The main Emmys is September 14th, 8 o'clock on CBS. So yeah, I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings here. It's tight. It's all tight. I'm just saying what I think might pull it out here. Thinking of voters. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So thank you. Thank you for listening. So coming up, you have 3 Emmy nominated 2 designers and a decorator coming up. So next week you have Heidi Miller of Jimmy Kimmel Live. She talks about the sets that she put in her nominated package, which are really funny. It's like Elf on the Shelf, Trump on the Shelf, the Sesame Street bit. I mean, to hear how they pull that off and the timing is crazy. They do over 220 episodes a year. It's crazy. The next week is Kalina Ivanov, who is the production designer of The Penguin. So we recap kind of what she had talked about in a previous episode with set decorator Rich Murray that we did back in December for ADG promotion. So we revisit that, and then we also talk about the Production Design Collective, which she helped found in 2014, which is an amazing thing. And if you're a production designer, please look into the Production Design Collective. It is a great networking place for designers to talk to each other and inform each other, and they have the International Production Design Week coming up this year in October. So then in 3 weeks, on the 19th, we have production designer from Bridgerton, Alison Garthshore. And those sets, I mean, the vibrancy, the colors, and the chandeliers and all, we talk about all that. It's so great. So those are your next 3 weeks. I'm going to be in Italy. As you're listening to this, I'm getting off the plane in Rome. So you have a good time with these next 3 weeks. I had a great time talking to these people and promoting their work. So yes. So thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're inspired by this year's incredible Emmy nominees, and maybe you pick some winners. You tell me who you think. You can email. If you're shy, you can just email me. It's fine. Make sure you catch up on the past interviews to hear about all of their hard work, like Severance and Andor and Hacks, and many more that are available on Decorating Pages podcast. And you can look at all that work on the YouTube channel. Bust my ass to put out that YouTube channel. All of everyone's work is on there beautifully, but I must say, in a nice presentation. And if you love the insights shared today, be sure to enroll in the... If you're thinking about set decorating, I have a set decorating masterclass. You can take it. It's on sale on the Decorating Pages podcast website. And if you sign up for email, you get a free quick reference decorating template that I keep at my desk every job, giving you all quick reference things like tablecloths and place settings and bed sizes and buying sheets. I think I do it all the time. No, I can't keep it in my head. Also, please hit subscribe, leave a review. It's super helpful. Thank you so much. And tell your friends. I hope you got an earful. I'm Kim Wannop for Decorating Pages.